When I got back from dinner, though, I couldn't shake this feeling that I was being watched. I went into the bathroom to wash my hands and splashed water on my face. Still no. I dried my hands and walked toward the front door to go home. And that's when I saw her. I nearly jumped out of my skin. Standing directly behind me was one of the girls I'd been with earlier, staring straight ahead at the door. But what really freaked me out was her expression. Her eyes were wide open and she was frozen like a statue. I called out to her, but she didn't respond. So I walked up behind her and touched her shoulder. She slowly turned around and blinked. "What?" "Oh, hey," she said, startled. "I didn't see you there." "What are you doing?" I asked, noticing that she was still staring at the front door. "Oh, nothing," she said. "I was just thinking about something. You were standing here silently for at least 10 minutes with your eyes bugged out of your head," I pointed out. "Me? Oh no, I was only standing here for a few seconds," she replied. "Well, okay, if you say so," I said, unsure of what to make of her odd behavior. I stepped outside and started walking down the hall to my apartment. As I walked away, I could feel her eyes boring into my back. I turned around and told her to forget about it and just get a good night's sleep. After all, we had class in the morning. She simply smiled mysteriously and went back to staring at the front door. I just shook my head and went on. The next day in class, I told my friend about the girl and the weird vibe I'd gotten from her the night before. She was definitely up to something, I insisted. Yeah, sure," he said dismissively. "You know how girls are." "No, seriously," I pressed. "She'd been standing there silently for at least 10 minutes. It was creepy." "Ah, don't worry about it," he said. "It's probably nothing." I knew he was just trying to be reassuring, but his lack of concern frustrated me. I felt there was more to the story and that something strange was going on with the girl. That night, I invited both girls over to my apartment to watch a movie. My friend declined, saying he already had plans, but I told him I'd call if anything weird happened, which he thought was funny. The girls arrived shortly after, and everything seemed normal. We talked and joked around as we watched the movie until they had to head back to their apartment. On the way to the door, I asked them if they wanted to come back sometime, to which they both agreed. "Great," I said, hoping that one of them would ask me to come over to their place instead. But neither one did. Once they were gone, I got a call from my friend. So, what do you think?" he asked. "Nothing yet," I replied. But I asked them if they wanted to come back here again tomorrow night. "Maybe then I can ask one of them to come over." "Good idea," he said. "Call me if anything weird happens." I laughed and hung up. The next night, I was watching TV when the doorbell rang. I opened the door and found one of the girls standing there with a bouquet of flowers. "These are for you," she said shyly. "Oh, wow, thank you," I replied. "They're beautiful." "I thought they might cheer you up," she said. "Cheer me up? What do you mean?" I asked, confused. "You seemed a little down last night," she said. "Really, it's nothing. Just a little tired," I assured her. "Okay, well, would you like to come in?" I asked, realizing that I hadn't actually invited her in. "Sure," she said with a smile. We went inside and sat down on the couch. I tried to make conversation, but it was difficult because she kept glancing at the clock and getting up to use the bathroom. After about half an hour, she stood up and said she had to get home. I walked her to the door and asked her if she wanted to come back again tomorrow. She said she'd try, but she was busy with studying. I nodded, although I suspected she was hiding something. She waved goodbye and headed back to her apartment. That night, I got a call from my friend. So what did the flower girl want?" he asked. "I have no idea," I replied. "She said she just wanted to cheer me up, but I was acting weird." "You weren't acting weird," he said. "It's those damn Ouija boards, I tell you," he added under his breath. I didn't catch what he said and asked him to repeat it. "Nothing," he said quickly. "Just forget about it." He went on to tell me that he and the other girl had been playing the Ouija board earlier that night, and she'd become agitated and stormed off after they asked a certain question. "What question?" I asked, curious. "Doesn't matter," he said, sounding annoyed. "Listen, why don't you just let it go? This is gonna turn into one of those big blow-ups if you keep at it," he warned. "Fine," I said, not wanting to argue. "Whatever you think. Call me later." As soon as I hung up, I heard a knock on the door. I opened it to find the other girl standing there with a sad look on her face. "Hey," I said, surprised to see her. "Hi," she said quietly. Is everything okay?" I asked. "Yeah, I need your help," she replied. "What's wrong?" I asked, stepping aside to let her in. "I need to get rid of this thing," she said, holding up a small box. "What is it?" I asked. "A Ouija board," she said, her voice barely a whisper. "This thing is evil," she continued. "We shouldn't have ever brought it here." "You said that thing was bringing you good luck," I said. "It is," she replied, "but it's also dangerous. You have to get rid of it." She looked desperate, and I couldn't help but feel a sense of unease myself. "Where did you find it?" I asked. "In the coat closet," she whispered. "That's where it came from. It was wrapped in some old clothes. I guess whoever lived here before us must have left it here." She explained that they'd been using it for a week and things had been happening. She wouldn't elaborate, but I could tell that she was scared. "Like what?" I asked gently. "Bad things," she said, shaking her head. "I just want to get rid of it. Please help me," she begged. I hesitated for a moment, unsure of what to do. On the one hand, I didn't want to upset her or put her in any danger. On the other hand, I was curious about what exactly was going on. Finally, I sighed and said, "All right, let's take care of it." We spent the next few hours searching the apartment for anything else related to the occult. We found a few books on witchcraft and some old candles, but nothing else of significance. We drove to a nearby park and buried the box deep in the ground, making sure to cover it with stones and dirt. Afterwards, we returned home feeling relieved to have done so. As the days passed, the unsettling events surrounding the Ouija board faded into memory. The girls and I became good friends, and none of us ever spoke of the supernatural occurrences that had unfolded within those four walls.